So, Mark, in sports, we see official sponsors of this and that and everything else. But in Las Vegas, we go deeper. Did you see this sign for the official shoe cleaning sponsor of F-1?
Yeah, how shady is this? I mean, everybody, and that, why would you want to be even put that on your sign when it's made up? But like everybody in Vegas hates F1 pretty much that lives there, and that's what you go with. Like you think that's going to draw people in? Oh man, what a terrible idea.
Now, this isn't the F1 that everybody knows. This is F-1. So hopefully they don't get in trouble and get sued.
That's the workaround right there.
So it was a very busy weekend in Las Vegas. The weather was very cold. It was windy. But did you see the line for Uber, Lyft, the rideshare line at Las Vegas Harry Reid Airport? I've seen lots of big crowds there, but I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I've never seen anything close to that. It's kind of nuts. And I mean, I know there was quite a few things going on this weekend, but it isn't like F1, Super Bowl, March Madness opening weekend. Like you wouldn't expect it to be that bad unless they just had a shortage of drivers. And, it used to be great to use Uber. It was super cheap in Vegas. It's not cheap anymore. I'd just go to the taxi line, go to International Terminal at this point, go ride the taxi. Or if you are going to do Uber because you have credits or whatever, or Lyft, as soon as you get off the plane, order it, right?
Yeah, I agree. Look at the app, see how long it's going to take. We do know that if you look at the app, though, and then you go back into the app later, they're known to raise the prices. So that is a little bit of a gamble. But you're right. They have fixed rates from taxis from the airport to the strip. So a lot of times taxis are cheaper when it's busy. And I bet with that crowd, the surge pricing had to be out of control.
Yeah, it's just nuts. And the taxi line moves pretty quickly. And a lot of people forgot that it's even there anymore. They just all go over to that parking garage to do the ride share. And you can go down the taxi line. There'll be like 10 people in line. Last time I was in Vegas, I just took the taxi because the prices Uber wanted. I think it was like $40 to get mid strip or something crazy when it should be, $20 or less. So I just went in the taxi line, had no problems, got through quickly. Guy got me there quickly. I mean, it was just easy.
So it was very windy in town. Not as windy as the weather had predicted, but because of weather forecasts, the Lovers and Friends Festival was canceled at the last minute. And this was a big deal because a lot of those people waiting in that line came for this event. It wasn't one of the smaller music festivals. Some of the people that were performing, Alicia Keys, Mary J. Blige, Janet Jackson, Gwen Stefani, Snoop Dogg, Ludacris, Nelly Furtado, TLC, a lot of people, a lot of big names, a lot of big acts canceled at the last minute. At least they're refunding people's money.
Yeah, when you hear Lovers and Friends, I just expect like EDM and Molly and everybody like touching and dancing. And then you hear the list and you're like, oh, okay, it's more like early 2000s and Friends type of lineup. But yeah, it stinks. I mean, even though you get the money back, you still paid for the flight, you booked the hotel, there's still a lot of expenditures that you're not going to get back. I mean, at least you're in Vegas, so you can still have fun versus going somewhere else that you're only going to for the festival. So that's kind of nice, but it also like the prices were probably higher because of this festival, and it stinks all around. And then if they maybe like when they do like a show like, hey, we're going to do it on Monday instead, and you just can't make it, like it never works out well. But you can't blame them, worrying about stuff falling on people. And if they would have gone through it and something bad happened, they would have got blamed. So you have to take good with the bad, I guess. And you'll get your money back hopefully easily. But just put some trampolines out and watch them fly away. There's your entertainment in Vegas.
There you go. It's a little dangerous though, but the reason they do this is because there have been cases with high winds and these temporary concert stages collapsing, including a case I think in 2011 where 7 people died. So better to be safe than sorry, especially in those large crowds. And that really sucks for everybody who came to Las Vegas this weekend. But hopefully they had a good time. Hopefully they made good out of it. The city has a lot to do.
Yeah, you wish that there'd be like a backup plan, like maybe Allegiant isn't being used. I know you probably can't, the logistics of it would be terrible, but how cool would it be like, hey, we're pivoting, we're moving where it's a little bit more protected and stuff, come here, that type of thing. But that's probably just make believe on my part, but it would be nice if they had something like that.
So over the last 4 years of doing this show, or however long we've been doing it, we've had a lot of videos of casinos flooding, water dripping through the ceilings. And we have another one this week from Luxor. But the difference here is it appears that they just left this leak happening. It was going on for days and days, according to the person who posted it on X or Twitter. And he just said that they just kept putting more buckets, bigger things to catch the water, and the leak kept getting worse. So hopefully they fixed it by now, but bad maintenance, I'd say.
Yeah, it has to be like a pipe or something, right? And the way Luxor's set up, it'd be kind of weird for flooding from rain. Just wouldn't seem like it would work that way. But yeah, this is kind of scary. It's coming down through the the smoke detector, the fire detector. So now you you're not protected if there's a fire. I guess maybe the water puts it out naturally, but you're not going to get that, alarm or whatever. It's kind of crazy. I don't understand what's going on here that hey, let's just put some buckets over. We'll worry about it when it runs out.
That reminds me of the Adventure Dome. For people who don't know, the Adventure Dome hasn't been weather sealed basically since it opened. They've always had leaks. So whenever it rains, go in there on a rainy day and you'll see towels everywhere, buckets catching the water. And I guess that's Luxor's strategy to this. Why not just shut off the water to this place? I don't know. Maybe it would have shut off rooms or whatever. So they're like, we need the room, so let's just let the water drip and put a big blue bucket there.
Hey, I wonder if they bought this cart from Criss Angel.
We got to talk about Criss Angel later in his garage sale because there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
He is selling carts.
All right, but let's talk about street vendor meat before we get to Criss Angel. And, we talk about all the street vendors and the new law and how it's affected people. Well, apparently there's these cartels of street vendors coming in from California. According to longtime street vendors here in Las Vegas, they're kind of pushing the old vendors out and they're establishing these like center areas where they're keeping all their food. And the Southern Nevada Health District busted 8 of these illegal street vendor food operations. And it included a lot of the like al pastor on sticks sitting on the ground. And there's pictures that are very disturbing and it makes you not want to eat street food.
Yeah, I mean, this is some messed up stuff, like meat at regular room temperature, just sitting there uncooked and bleeding all over the place. And it's not a pretty look. One of the street vendors makes a good case, like fruit and shave ice and stuff like that, snow cones, whatever, should be treated a little bit differently because they're not dealing with meat, and maybe not be so strict on those people. Although like fruit can get nasty, flies can get in it and all that type of stuff. This is kind of scary. It looks like it's like in an abandoned tunnel where homeless people would live, and they turned that into a kitchen and just had graffiti on the walls and stuff sitting next to trash. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder how long they had been waiting to bust these people, because they did it, I think, on the first day that street vendors became legal in Clark County. So I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad that they're on the case. And street vendors are supposed to prepare all their food and store it in commercial kitchens. So they said that they're going to work on maybe trying to get better alternatives, cheaper alternatives for commercial kitchens so they have access. So hopefully this legal framework will help make the food quality better. But yeah, I don't think I want to have any of that meat that's been sitting there. I'm going to think twice before I go to the taco
street meat. Throw up that license plate now about the Californians, and because everybody's shaking their fist. Californians.
They ruin everything. So one of the cooler things out in Jean was these miners that sat at the entrance to Terrible's, or the old Gold Strike, and obviously that's closed and it's being torn down. They're going to build warehouses there, but the miners found a new home out in the Good Springs Saloon. Now this saloon is really cool, and I'm going to get out there soon and film it. I've been there before, but before I had YouTube, so I didn't film everything out there. But they have great burgers and just a very cool throwback Las Vegas. But the first miner is sitting there. The second one they're trying to restore. And I didn't know that these miners originally sat on Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. So they're 70 years old. So a big piece of Vegas history and another reason to head out to the saloon.
Yeah, it's such a cool look back in time, and these have moved around a bit. And I love that about Vegas. Like they move, like, Vegas Vic moves around, River Rick and all that stuff. Like you have all these statues, I guess you could call, but like lit up and usually and do cool things, and they move around. And I think this is a perfect spot for it. I'm a little bit upset that we didn't go out that way now that, we were kind of close there on our drive out to Laughlin. I know it would have been breaking the other way, but that looks like such a cool bar. Just like when we drove through Nipton and we saw that little bar, that's like what I was hoping this would be like. And this is like perfect. It looks like they have music some nights and everything. So definitely on my list to check out. And it's just like a reminder for people that have been to Strip a lot, come to Vegas often, rent a car and drive out there. There's so much cool, unique stuff. And Nevada is such like a deserty wasteland at points, but then it has all these cool little towns to drive through. And it's so beautiful and something to do that's not just on the Strip.
Way to insult us by calling us a wasteland and then compliment us by saying there's nice things within the wasteland.
I was just watching the Fallout show, and it's like part of Nevada. It kind of feels like that. Not like desolate buildings or anything, but just like desert, mountains, all that stuff. You can drive 30 minutes outside the Strip and be miles away from anybody, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I think there was a whole Fallout game themed around Las Vegas, wasn't there? So, or around Prim, or Fallout New Vegas, I think it was called. So yeah, we live in a wasteland. We just have to accept it.
Just cut all this out because it's gonna be terrible hate.
I'm not cutting the wasteland.
We bought Wasteland.
So Live Nation is having their concert week where they're selling $25 tickets to big acts all over the country, but a lot of them in Las Vegas. Some of the ones in Las Vegas that you can get at Hootie and the Blowfish, Third Eye Blind, Rod Stewart, Maroon 5, Carlos Santana, Jeff Foxworthy, Blink 182, Jennifer Lopez, a lot of stuff, T-Mobile Arena, a lot of big venues. They go on sale May 8th. I'm sure they'll be in very limited supply.
Yeah, you probably got to be quick and have it picked out which one you want to go for right away. Maybe have a couple browsers open if you want to look at a couple different shows and click back and forth really quickly. But this is cool because we've talked about how expensive concerts are right now, like double what they were before the pandemic, and it's been crazy. So hopefully, our viewers can get in on some of these deals and save a bit of money, because this will bring it back down to kind of what you expect when you're going to a concert versus what they are right now.
And it's $25 for tickets. If I didn't say that, I'm not sure if I said that up top. So $25 tickets, we'll put a link in the description. Check it out. But no matter where you are, whether you're in Vegas or at home, there's shows all over the country that you can get at $25. So score some and go out and see some cool acts.
You think limited quantities, what do you think will be more? How many they release per show, or the amount of chips on a Fontainebleau nacho plate?
I'm going to go the over on that. Well, the old nachos or the new nachos? I don't know.
Yeah, old nachos. Old nachos. You think they'll have more than the old nachos? Okay.
Yeah, I think more for sure. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. Lots of laughs, lots of fun, lots of Vegas. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the info. Thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So let's talk food real quick. And there's a few food related items, starting with Lotus of Siam. This is a very popular restaurant here in Las Vegas. There's a location off of East Flamingo. There's another one at Red Rock that is sort of a franchise, and I've heard the food is different. But the original owners have the Flamingo location. The original location was on East Sahara in the commercial center, which for people around Las Vegas a long time know that is one of the quirkiest centers in town. There's bars and things for everybody, from adult sort of things to pool bars to cowboy bars to just about everything in there. But they're going to reopen in their original location after being closed 7 years. They're renovating the space, and this is the original Lotus of Siam. Great Thai food. Very exciting news.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I can't think of anywhere else that somebody leaves for so long and then comes back and rehabs it all. And sounds like they're going to try to use a lot of the stuff they had from before, but also modernize it. And it, they ripped it down to the studs. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. And such a cool thing that they're coming back home.
So a quick real update, and this isn't for me, but we've talked about some of the food court stuff. The ramen I had, which I really liked. The chicken tenders were very good. The Philly steak was pretty good as well. And Attaboy Burgers, the burger place there. Lucky Traveling went with our buddy Detroit 1051, who also did that F1 sneaker thing at the beginning of this thing. So shout out to him. And they said it was very good. The burger looks great. The onion rings strong and on Texas toast. So I'll have to give this place a try.
Yeah, I think, you either love it or hate it if it's on Texas toast versus a bun. Some people won't go for it, but it looks great. I mean, it looks like they grilled the toast properly and all that, and the onion rings look fantastic. So if you're in there, I would check it out in the food court. It looks like a great spot.
And last thing, Q, I think that's how you pronounce it, at Fontainebleau, they have a tasting menu. It's only $125, which I saw the price after I saw all the pictures and the description of what this is. A 9-course meal, lots of stuff in this, stone pot Thai rice, Korean fried chicken, Japanese sweet potato, crispy kale, all kinds of different stuff, short ribs, 9 courses, $125, and the food looks amazing to me.
Yeah, I think this might be like the best deal in Fontainebleau. We've talked about, it seems like everybody loves the food there at all the restaurants. Always good reviews. It's just the price is always pretty high. We talked about our breakfast that we didn't get a ton of stuff, was like $150, right around there. And you're getting, a 9-course meal for a little bit less than that. So I think this is a really good hidden gem, maybe, of Fontainebleau. And when I saw the pictures, I expected it to be like $250, $300. So I think there's a lot of value here if you're into that kind of thing.
I agree. And while we're talking and giving praise to Fontainebleau, let's talk about Vegas Snob's VIP report. And this is probably the most complete report on Fontainebleau I've seen yet. So shout out to him. Great job doing this. He came on a comp as a VIP, talks about the VIP experience in the lounge, but also ate at several restaurants, a lot of the bars, talks about the pool, the room, everything else. And he left loving the place. As someone who's, stayed at the nicest hotels in Las Vegas, we talked about him staying at the Mirage Villas, I think, in the past. He stayed at the Wynn Garden Villas, and he stayed everywhere, basically, all the really cool places. And he loved Fontainebleau, says he can't wait to go back.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting perspective, a little bit different than just, paying the regular rate, getting a standard room, a different experience from check-in that he goes over. And then I think he makes a good point at the end, talking about Wynn when it first opened and the deals he would get for villa suites and stuff like that compared to what it is now. And he was trying to talk it up to everybody when he'd go home, and people were like, "Oh, where's Wynn? Oh, that's north end of the strip. That's gross. Like, why would I go there?" Because that was back when there was nothing out there. And he talked it up, and now a standard room costs a pretty penny to get in there. It's super expensive. So maybe that's where Fontainebleau's at right now. It seems like they've kind of figured it out a bit as far as treating players properly and getting people in there, and the service. We've always heard good things about the service in the restaurants and everything. So I think that they're catching up in the main areas. And then he also went to the Poodle Club, which I don't think we've seen anything from anybody to talk about that experience. And I think the most interesting tip is if you get a suite, you get access to the club, which I didn't know. Did you know that?
I didn't, and that seems strange. There's a lot of suites there, but I didn't know that, and I wanted to know more about the Poodle Club. Do you want to visit it? Do you feel left out that you're not special enough to go to the Poodle Club as a member, I guess? Well, I guess all you need to do is book a suite then.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like certain suites or whatever, but I think midweek he said that they're around $1,000 a night, which for a lot of people are like, whoa, well, I'd never pay that for a room. But if you're into that type of experience, just to get access as well as like a great suite and everything, I think it might be worth it, especially if it's like a special occasion. Check it out, rub shoulders with the wealthy and all that stuff. I think I read that it's $20,000 to join. Look at it that way. You're getting in for one night.
And the VIP welcome experience, you arrive via underground, and then they take you in an elevator up to the VIP lounge. He describes all that. Great articles, so go check it out, read about it. This will be your first complete sort of look at Fontainebleau, especially from the VIP experience. If you want to be a high roller, you want to go all in. He really loved his experience there. Talked about how the staffing is really high, which I agree with. Every time I'm there, there's tons of staff. You don't wait in lines anywhere, and it is a great property. We talked about the things that we don't like about it, but it's great to see this perspective as well.
Yeah, and he makes a funny point, like, yeah, there's a ton of people at Bellagio, but they're there to just look at the flowers and the entry area and the fountains. They're not there to spend money, where everybody at Fontainebleau is there for the most part to spend money. I mean, I think there's still quite a few people that go just to walk around and look, but the bigger majority of the people there are there because they want to be at Fontainebleau and want to sit and gamble and all that stuff. So it's an interesting take, interesting look. I think they still need to dim the lights, but other than that, it's beautiful.
We hope you're enjoying this supersized MTM Vegas show. If you like the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up on this video, help us reach more people, leave a comment, let's discuss things. And we have to talk about Criss Angel now, Mark, and his garage sale. He's selling all of his old tricks, lighting sets, cars, motorcycles. I went in skeptical, like I wanted to think of jokes to make about this. And then as I went through the page, I found like a dozen things I wanted to buy.
I came away from this a little bit depressed. Like, I think, you made the comment, it's a race against the clock that we laughed about for like 10 minutes several months ago. And I think the clock just struck midnight. I mean, he's selling his personal gym and stuff. It's so weird, like laundry carts and garbage cans and all kinds. It's like basically like Tropicana selling all their stuff on closure. Like, I don't know if this is to fund future shows, if things are bad or what, or, just trying to clear out the garage. It feels so strange.
It does, but a lot of these are old tricks. So from his TV show, and maybe he's just been storing them and he doesn't want to keep the warehouse. It does feel a lot like an estate sale, especially when you see his personal gym for $20,000. My favorite thing was that unicorn bicycle thing. I was like, I want to get that for my house. Yeah, who doesn't want that?
It's so weird. Oh man, yeah. There's some interesting stuff, so definitely scroll through.
Yeah, and there's like tricks that you can get, like sawing people in half. The things that magicians use on stage, you can get the trick, and then you can put it in your house and do magic parties and all of that. So imagine all of the possibilities.
2008 Lambo too. There you go. If you were looking for a slightly used Lamborghini, here's your spot.
All right. And let's finish with this. Bad news for Caesars members, specifically Diamond Plus members. So the news started, I think John Mahaffey, Vegas Advantage, that's where I saw it first, talking about poker players not getting their 4 free drinks for Diamond Plus members. And then we saw it spread to sportsbook bettors, but also then video poker players and other players, leaving people to sort of guess as to what this metric is. But it seems like they're lower value gamblers, the people they don't get as much money from. even if they have the status, they've now taken it away with no notice, no announcement. Not a good look.
No, it's cheap. I mean, it's super cheap. How much do these drinks really cost them? Not a ton. And they already took away the lounges. So you already are saving a ton of money there. And if you wanted to do this, then change the way the program works. Change the way that they earn tier credits on those games. You know, you can't do it after they've already earned it. It's just starting for a new year. They earned it last year. They spent all the money and time and effort. And now you're taking the perks away, you know, after. I'm sure there will be some type of lawsuit or threats at least, and they might roll this back because I can't imagine this standing. And then they need to rework all of that. Like, if you don't want poker players to get freebies, then change the way poker players earn comps or earn tier credits. It's so Caesars and cheap and just disgusting.
We've seen this with some loyalty programs in the past where it almost seems like they're attacking members, and this seems like very much an attack on people. If you want to change things for the next tier year, then change them. You have all the control in the world. But somebody, some accountant somewhere, some bean counter saw that it was costing them this much money. But as you point out, they had lounges before COVID all over the city. Now they don't have those anymore. And this benefit was specifically because they don't have the lounges. So they keep cutting back, and this is the new Caesars. But people should really think twice about giving them business if they're, you know, you're a high roller there, even if it's poker, even if it's lower margin stuff for them, and they're going to change it in the middle of the game. There's plenty of other casinos that won't do that to you.
Yeah, this is like a, hey, thanks. Maybe that's what they want. They want these people to leave because maybe they were losing money. These are all people that they didn't make any money on. So it's kind of like, hey, if they're coming in and costing us money every time they come here, we don't even want them to come here. But it's a bad look. It's bad press. So you got to look at it that way too. Like, eventually the times will turn and that person might give you money that they wouldn't have otherwise. So I don't know. It's just, you know, do better.
Do better, Caesars. I don't think that's the first time we've said it. I don't think they're listening to us, Mark. I'm sorry. I don't think they care about what we say. But hopefully people speak out, you know, speak out with your business and speak out with your money, and let us know in the comments if you've been affected by this, and let us know what you think about anything else we talked about: the Criss Angel garage sale, the flooding at Luxor, cancellation of the festival. Were you in town for that? Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
We should send that Criss Angel link to the people at Luxor so they got enough buckets for their water.
A lot of that stuff came from Luxor, right? From when he had his show there. There's a lot of tricks he performed at Luxor there.
See? He left them high and dry, man. They don't have enough carts left anymore.